All right, got home last night with my XMR 850 like 2 a.m. and this morning I woke up and pulled off all of this bull crap, including this back rack, because this is like a secondary rack system on top of the rack that's built into the plastics. So this is all stuff that I'm going to leave off. Maybe I went a little extreme with it. I don't know. You can tell me in the comment section. But I don't like when they take a base model vehicle like this 700 and stick a bunch of crap all over it and try to charge you another $5,000. So I pulled all this off and we're going to see how much it weighs now on my AC scale. It's a fairly accurate scale. We got a basket there. The scale is zeroed out. And let's start putting stuff in. So here's my least favorite thing. This is the giant growth for the front winch. That weighs 14.7 pounds. Okay, so we'll add all this up in Excel. Honestly, I thought it'd be heavier. Here's the stiffener. I did have to cut this in half when I removed it. That goes with that monstrosity. That weighs 6.7. Let's call it 6.8 pounds because I did remove some mass when I grinded through it. Obviously, I'm not planning on putting any of this back on ever. Here's the back bumper. So I can get this to sit on here some kind of way. Okay, 10.7 pounds. And then we got all these little odds and ends, reflectors, extra crap, all the bolts and nuts that held the winch assembly on in the back bumper. Throw a few of these in here for good measure. I also took off the spark arrestor because I do that on every Can-Am because it's just going to get full of mud and it's choked the engine out on me before on a ride, and that's very annoying. All right, that's another 2.2 pounds removed. I didn't have it tared for zero for this, so let's go ahead and weigh this again. Oh, there we go. 16.2 pounds. 16.2 pounds for this rack with this metal thing back here. And you got to remember, guys, all this stuff was mounted very high up on the machine. So I've significantly lowered the center of gravity. Okay, so we've got all that figured out. That saved us a ton of weight. But how much weight can we save by just bolting on some different tire and wheels? So this is my new wheel. This is the ultralight Tarachi beadlock. So this is a full functional beadlock. It's got a lot of awesome features in there. I'll tell you about in a separate video. Just giving you guys a little teaser here. These will be on sale soon. This is just a 28-inch Aztec I have mounted on it now. We have an ultralight 30 Aztec that's even lighter than our current 30 coming out soon. All right, this sucker weighs 56.5 pounds. 56.5 pounds tire and wheel. And let's see what we can do if we put my ultralight beadlock on there. By the way, this is a non-beadlock wheel. 47.2 pounds. So if we were to swap to my new beadlock in an Aztec, we could save, at least 5 or 6 pounds per corner with the new ultralight 30 on there. So yeah, I'll put that in the spreadsheet too, just to see how much weight we could save by going to a better tire. So here's my spreadsheet tallying up everything I removed. So to start out with, the XMR 700 has a dry weight of claimed 876 pounds. The XMR 850 1000 had a dry weight of 1,071. Can-Am recently removed this from their website and it just says NA now because that's what Can-Am does. So the difference between these two is 195 pounds, so almost 200 pounds difference, and I was trying to figure out why that is, right? Well, here's why. So if you go through and you remove all these parts from the XMR 850 1000, the winch bumper, the winch stiffener, the rear bumper, random bolts, the rear rack, you save 50.6 pounds. That is a huge amount, right? That's 5% of the total weight of the machine just with some BS bolt-ons, basically. So that's a big part of it, right? They added 50 pounds of crap to the 850 just for looks, basically. So I took all that off, so that saved 50 pounds. And then the other big difference is the tires. So if you switch from the tires that this XMR 850 comes on, which are the 30s, to the Aztec tire and wheel I showed you, you save about 8.3 pounds per corner or 33 pounds overall. So that's just 8.3 times 4. I say about because obviously this XMR 850 came on 30s. I was measuring a 28 there. And this number right here, I added a pound because I have a new 30 coming out that's about a pound heavier than our current 28. So I added that back in here. So this should be roughly accurate for the new ultra lightweight Tarachi Aztec XL30 on the new Tarachi 14x7 beadlocks. So not only are you saving 33 pounds going to Aztecs, I'm also adding a beadlock into the setup here too. So that saves you about 80 pounds right there, taking off the BS, going to the Aztec Tires. And then you're probably wondering, okay, where's the other 120 pounds? Well, you've got 2 extra camshafts, extra cylinder head, extra piston and jug. You've got bigger axles, and a couple of little things like that. So it kind of makes sense. The XMR 850 1000 is going to be heavier. It has more power. They had to beef up some of the drivetrain. It's got an extra cylinder. But a lot of the weight, 50 pounds of the weight, is just all this crap they stuck on it to make it look cool. So yeah, hope this is useful for you guys. I took all this stuff off, and it is 100% never going back on. None of it's necessary. And all those extra parts are just more things for mud to cling to when you're out there covered in mud, which is just going to weigh the machine down more. You're going to have 20 pounds of mud sandwiched between those double rear racks. That's asinine. Impossible to clean that. That rear rack's never going back on. So if anybody wants any of these parts I took off, hit me up, because I'm going to throw them in the trash in a couple days if no one claims them. Look how obnoxious this front bumper is. I mean, the winch stops here, and it sticks out all the way to here. This is unexcusable. I've got to put this thing on a diet. This bumper right here sticks out over 9 inches from the front of the plastics. Mounts to the frame, where I say the front bumper, with 4 small fasteners. 1, 2, 3, 4. These top small fasteners go through this stiffener, and then they go through the bumper. So it's really not mounted super great. All right, so I got all that crap off in about 5 minutes. Also, the grill is removable, which is nice, so you can get in here and access your winch once it's in the spot it should be in. But this plate, it's got to come out because it's serving no purpose other than supporting that bumper. And it is really wedged in there. All right, so it's out of there. If you know me, you know I'm not a very patient man. Look how thick that is. So yeah, I just grabbed the old circle cutter and cut a corner off of it to get it out of here. And now I feel much better because all this space is empty like it should be. Now I'm going to easily mount the winch down here where it should be. Mounted the winch in the proper location. As you'd expect, it fit in there perfect. It's a little close to the front diff, but just fine. This winch, these Can-Am winches are usually kind of cheap, so I'll probably eventually replace it with like a more premium one. Real quick, while we're talking about the winch switch is integrated into the controller for all your other buttons. So that's kind of cool, right? One thing I've never liked about these Can-Am bumpers is this sticks out kind of far, and I've seen plenty of people grab vines and trees and it gets pulled into here and does more damage than you'd have got without the bumper. Also, it's extra weight. It is nice if you go over backwards in a wheelie. It sticks out a little bit, keeps you from falling backwards. Not a huge fan, so we're gonna take it off for now. Maybe we'll go back on later. So I just pulled the back rack off. It's a giant plastic thing with this big steel bracket underneath it, and I'm really not sure why it's there. This is what the back of the quad looks like without the rack.